My name is Christy, and I'm the Executive Director at Family Promise of the Lakeshore. The number one question that I get asked is, what does Family Promise do? Well, the short answer to that is that we help families with children under the age of 18 that are experiencing a housing crisis. Family Promise does this through a variety of multi layered approaches that I'm going to do my best to explain in this video today. When you first have contact with Family Promise, you're going to communicate with the shelter advocate. The shelter advocates are trained in shelter diversion practices because we know that nobody wants to stay in a homeless shelter if they can be staying someplace else and they don't have to. The shelter advocate's going to talk to you about what's going on with your housing. They're going to ask you some questions like, where did you stay last night? Do you have family and friends that you can stay with? How about your landlord? Would your landlord give you a little more time, maybe if we were to talk to them and try to convince them to? Do you have money to pay for a hotel room? Now, this is where usually people stop us and say, hey, wait, do you pay for hotel vouchers? Well, the short answer is no. We don't pay for hotel vouchers. Sometimes we are able to partner with another agency for brief periods of time to provide hotel programs, but that's not something that we can do on an ongoing basis. We do, however, try to work with hotels to provide clients that we're working with a discounted rate at those hotels, if that would be helpful. So, if the shelter aide determines that maybe us speaking to your landlord would help you to get more time, or if you tell them that, hey, I need you to talk to my family member or my friend to try to convince them to let me stay until I get into housing, or if you think that us negotiating a rate for a hotel might be the best option for you, then the shelter aide is going to go ahead and connect you with a case manager who's going to advocate for those things on your behalf. Um, you know, we try everything we can to try to keep you from having to enter shelter, but unfortunately, sometimes that's just not possible. And sometimes people do have to come into shelter. So, if it's determined that you need shelter and we have openings in our program, then you would be placed into the shelter program that best fits your family's size, your family's location, and your family's needs. Emergency shelter is the first shelter option that we offer. This is a program that uses housing focused case management to help families with children under the age of 18. It's provided at our static site location that's in Muskegon County and upon occasion through hotel programs, as I mentioned earlier, but those are very limited. Hotel programs are typically limited to 3 night stays, while our static site location currently has no time limits at all, as long as you're working your case management plan. Scattered sites are other model of shelter. It's also sometimes called master leasing. This is available to families with children under the age of 18, and this program offers shelter in an apartment or a house that's rented by our agency. Participating clients are not the tenants in the unit. The home serves exactly as a room in a shelter would. The program has a limit of 90 days, and that's only if you're making progress on your case plan. It's not a guarantee that when you come in the door you can stay 90 days, but as long as you're making progress on your case plan, the program does have a 90-day stay. A 30-day extension is available if there is identified housing that you're waiting to get into at the end of those 90 days. Both of these shelter programs include housing focused case management, life skills classes, and mentorship opportunities. Most families that enter our shelter programs do graduate to a positive housing destination. And once you've graduated from our shelter program, then you become eligible for our stabilization program. This program offers support to families that are already in stable housing or are about to move into stable housing. The program aims to offer assistance when temporary setbacks or emergencies are encountered. Our stabilization program is open to both graduate families and the general public. Um, there just has to be a child under the age of 18 in the household. Examples of assistance in this program are usually small amounts, and they include things like maybe a month's rent, or it might include vehicle repairs, or paying for medications, or assistance with a gas card to get to work, assistance with groceries, or perhaps some laundry services. This program occasionally, as I mentioned, does help with first month's rent and deposit. However, I want to be really clear. The goal of this program is not to pay first month's rent and deposit for people, and that's very rarely available. In those cases, most of the time, we're going to refer you to MDHHS, or we're going to refer you to True North or Good Samaritan so that you can get some help with those kinds of things. Um, but the goal of this program is to help you when you encounter a temporary crisis, to provide you with some simple case management, some basic life skill support, and to help ensure that you don't encounter this kind of barrier again. Now, in some cases, families may be in danger of an eviction or a foreclosure. Our homeless prevention program offers the general public and graduate families both, as long as they have children under the age of 18 again, with assistance with things like back rent and utilities and mortgage payments in order to prevent an eviction or a foreclosure. It's best that you call us as soon as you suspect that you won't be able to pay your rent or mortgage, because early intervention has the best chance of helping you stay housed, and because honestly, limited funds mean that this program can only be available when there is funding available. So you don't want to wait to call in case funding wouldn't be available. Family Promise staff are trained to determine which of our programs best fit your situation, so you don't have to worry about that. They're going to place you in the program that best fits your needs. But again, I want to be really clear and honest about that prevention and stabilization program. These programs are only available while the funding allows. And unfortunately, this means funds are often depleted. So calling early, calling for smaller amounts is going to increase your chance of receiving assistance. It is really important to note that money is never given directly to the client that we're working with. Money is always given to the vendor, and the money is only paid to the vendor after we have proof that the bill's owed and proof that the family is going to be able to resume paying these bills after this temporary intervention. We want to make sure that this is going to keep you housed. If you're interested in learning more about any of these programs, I would encourage you to call our shelter at 231 747 8855 and speak to the shelter aide on duty. They're going to help you match with the program that best fits your family's situation. We'd love to help you. Thank you for your time. Bye.